Shalom, brothers and sisters. World War III approaching horribly fast, and constant threats between the big powers and the nations, flexing with their little nuclear bombs, everyone feeling really strong and special. Special being the word they should apply to themselves here, because they're not thinking about the mutually assured destruction. The latest threat, and it's really crazy when they make these simulations and they show what it's going to be like, because by watching the simulation they should, as a sane person, realize this is not the way to go, but darkness. World War III is approaching. Pro-Putin channel simulates massive nuclear strike on London that would instantly vaporize 850,000 people. In a propaganda video released by Tsargrad TV, a massive nuclear warhead is shown striking the British capital city in an attack that would kill 850,000 and injure 2 million others. In the simulation, the epicenter of the explosion is at Westminster. People within that radius would feel nothing because the nerve impulse transmission speed is slower than the bomb. Within 5 kilometers of the epicenter of the blast radius city of London, Camden Town, Kensington, Brixton, these areas will receive the most destruction. The movie was tweeted out by Moscow News, and the translation from the tweet says, Russian media publishes a simulation of a nuclear strike on the British capital London with a charge of 750 kilotons. World War III is approaching. So, very scary, very freaky if you don't have Jesus. You see, I'm not scared about things like this anymore, and neither should you be. We don't worry about what man can do to us. We are in the hands of Almighty God, and He promises to be with us to the very end of the age. He will be with us in all things. I don't need more than that. I'm literally, as well, if I knew a nuclear strike was coming on the area that I live, which I doubt because we've destroyed enough of it ourselves. But if there was, or when I was living in Cape Town, if a tidal wave was coming and I'm looking at the sea, I'm not one of the people jumping in my car and screaming and freaking out into the hills and trying to escape. I'm not going to die tired or caught up in chaos. I'm relaxed in the fact that God has got me and He is in control. I'm not worried about whatever outcome is coming. My faith and my peace is in Him. His shalom is with me. He will guide me. If He needs me to move, He'll move me. So I trust in the Lord. You can't scare me with stories of tidal waves, nuclear bombs, missile strikes. We shouldn't be worried about those things. We should have our eyes on Jesus all the time. But here's the video. Again, remember that as you watch it. And yeah, we see everything is not falling apart. Everything is coming together prophetically for that final week that wraps everything up. And then God is coming to reign for 1,000 years. And I, for one, cannot wait. Shalom.
Upon detonation, a fireball as hot as the sun rapidly expands, reaching a radius of 950 meters. Anything trapped inside this fireball is instantly vaporized. In our simulation, the epicenter of the explosion is at Westminster. People within that radius won't even feel anything because the nerve impulse transmission speed is slower. Within 5 kilometers of the epicenter, the blast radius. City of London, Camden Town, Kensington, Brixton. These areas will receive the most destruction. Buildings will be destroyed and debris will fill the streets, creating extremely dangerous conditions for everyone in the vicinity. Given the population density in central London, the initial death toll could exceed 250,000 people and around 600,000 injured. Within a radius of 10 kilometers, the radiation will cause third-degree burns. Within that radius, anything that can burn will catch fire. Gas stations, automobiles, power substations, gas infrastructure. Explosive facilities will explode and amplify the effect of the devastation over a huge area, including areas from Camden to Greenwich and Islington to Wandsworth. According to various estimates, a further 450,000 people will die from burns, debris injuries, or radiation sickness, and over 1 million will be traumatized. Many of these injuries could prove fatal over the next days and weeks. Radiation sickness in particular will take lives days and weeks later. In time, about 100,000 more will be added to the death toll. Within an 18-kilometer radius of the blast, the shock wave will be enough to shatter windows, causing additional casualties to people who come to the windows when they see the nuclear blast. The shock wave will reach Hounslow, Edgware, and Enfield. Depending on the wind, the fallout could spread well beyond the immediate blast zone, potentially affecting areas up to 5 to 10 kilometers away, causing damage even in regions such as Essex or Surrey. The estimated casualties in the event of a 750-kiloton nuclear bomb exploding in London would be about 850,000 people dead and about 2 million injured. If the explosion were to occur on the ground rather than in the air, the fallout map would be greatly expanded, and the radioactive fallout could even reach Manchester, infecting people, land, and animals. The problem with a nuclear explosion in London is also that London is essentially not designed to survive such a disaster. 11 of London's 20 major hospitals would be within the blast. The remaining hospitals would be physically unable to cope with the number of victims. Many people are still alive under the rubble of the buildings, suffering burns, but no one will be able to help them.